Good evening, friends. In my previous video, I had to stop rather. I had to stop my discussion because of the mobile memory problem. But anyway, I will like to continue with the plot line of the novel The Great Gatsby from the point where we had left in our previous video. So we had come to the point wherein Gatsby, Jay Gatsby, invites his old girlfriend Daisy and her husband Tom to one of his parties. They both come and she is disappointed with the way the party is happening, with the lavishness, with the luxuriousness that the party is happening. And there is one interesting scene in the novel wherein Jay Gatsby takes Daisy to his room to show his wealth. So excess of materialism is shown in this particular scene, and somehow Daisy does not like the way the parties are conducted there. So she expresses her unhappiness regarding those extravagant parties, and then that is the point where Jay Gatsby decides not to have such parties anymore. So we had stopped at that point in our previous video. So the days pass on, and now Tom starts getting suspicious about the relationship between Daisy and Gatsby. We need to look at his hypocrisy. Tom himself is having an extramarital affair with Myrtle Wilson, and he is now doubting on his wife. For him, having an extramarital affair is okay, but for his wife to have it, it is not okay for him. So he starts getting suspicious about the affair between Daisy and Gatsby, and in order to reveal all those truths, in order to know more about Gatsby, he goes on doing some investigations in which he comes to know that Gatsby has amassed so much wealth because of his criminal activities. It comes to that the truth is revealed about the past of Gatsby, how he came into the web of organized crime and bootlegging. Thereby he earned so much money with which he was throwing his extravagant parties now, and this truth was not known to Daisy. So Tom makes all these investigations, and after these investigations are over, he invites Jay Gatsby along with Nick, Jordan to the party, to a lunch party at his home in the East Egg. So we need to understand that this party is not just a friendly party, but it is organized, it is held in order to reveal the secrets about Jay Gatsby to his wife Daisy. So all the people gather there. Gatsby comes, Nick comes to the party, and Jordan also joins the party. So here are the 5 members at the lunch party in the house of Tom. So the party goes on smoothly for some time, and after some time Tom observes that Daisy is being watched by Gatsby, and he confirms about the relationship between Gatsby and Daisy. So a quarrel starts between these two men, between Tom and Gatsby. Gatsby says that that Daisy does not love Tom anymore, and he tells about his past relation with Daisy. In turn, Tom says that no matter whom she loves, she has to stay with Tom because she is married to Tom. So a verbal argument happens, they both quarrel, and meanwhile something striking happens there. During that quarrel, in front of Daisy, Tom reveals the suspicious and mysterious past of Gatsby and how he earned a lot of money because of organized crime and bootlegging. So the impression and the image which was created by Gatsby in the mind of Daisy is all shattered. Now Daisy is in confusion whether to love this man Gatsby or to live peacefully with her husband Tom. So now she is in confusion. She actually does not like Tom because of his brutish nature, but since she is married, she has to stay with him, and she has married him for his richness, aristocracy. On the other hand, now that the original picture of Gatsby is revealed, she is unable to trust any of these men. So the quarrel takes place, and after some time, Tom forces Gatsby and his wife Daisy to go back to West Egg. So they both start driving the car. Who? Gatsby and Daisy. They both go back to New York. From New York to East Egg, and on the way there is a mishap. There is an accident which takes place. It is actually Daisy who was frustrated with the new revelation about Gatsby. She is in frustration while driving the car. She hits a woman on the way, and that woman is none other than wife of George Wilson, the garage owner we had mentioned in the beginning, and she happens to be the secret girlfriend of Tom. So unfortunately, this lady is killed in that accident, and the mistake that this woman does is she just hits and runs. She does not stop or watch or wait to see what happened to the woman she had hit in the car. Now this accident has taken place, and they both have driven far away back to East Egg. And after some time, Tom, along with Jordan and Nick, is traveling back to East Egg from New York, and on the way he watches this scene where George Wilson is crying, and there has been a death of this woman who happened to be his girlfriend. Now he comes to know the secret. The secret was that both Gatsby and Daisy were driving in Gatsby's car. So the owner of the car which hit this woman was Gatsby. So this becomes an opportunity for Tom to take a revenge on Gatsby. It's quite obvious. So after some talk with George Wilson, after they console him, Tom comes with Nick and Jordan back to East Egg. When they all come to East Egg, it is already the night time, and Nick is in a hurry to meet Gatsby in order to know what really happened during that accident, who really killed this woman, Myrtle. And when Nick meets Jay Gatsby, here one striking feature of Jay Gatsby is revealed. Jay Gatsby, no matter how he earned all his wealth, no matter how much corrupt he was, no matter how much of a hypocrite he was, but he was a true lover, and he remained true to his feelings of love for Daisy. So this quality is revealed during the conversation between Nick and Gatsby. So when it is in the night time, already Gatsby has safely reached his place, East Egg. He has safely dropped his girlfriend Daisy to her home, and now he is alone. So when Nick meets him, Gatsby tells what really happened during that accident, and it is here we come to know that it was not Gatsby's mistake, but it was Daisy's mistake. She was driving the car, but now he was ready to take blame on himself. So we have to appreciate the quality of Gatsby, that he was ready to even sacrifice himself for the sake of his lover, so that she is not caught by the police. So, and here he is a little hopeful that after this incident at least, Daisy would come back to him. So he asks Nick to go and check what is happening in the house of Tom and Daisy. So Nick goes on his request. Nick goes and just is watching through the window there, and now he understands that in order to escape the prison or punishment, Daisy is trying to conspire with Tom. So here we get to see the ugly picture of the rich aristocratic society, how they try to escape dangers with the help of their money and power. She knew that she was driving the car, but for the world, the owner of the car was Mr. Gatsby. So it was very easy for anyone to guess who was the culprit there during that accident. But Daisy would have taken blame on herself, but she wanted to remain safe. She did not want to sacrifice herself. So this shows how she was also a corrupt woman. She did not really have the feelings of real love towards Gatsby. She wanted to remain safe rather. She wanted her own security, which was more than anything else for her in her life. So now Nick understands the situation. Looking through the window, he understands that they both are having lunch, and Nick understands that Daisy is not going to leave this opportunity, and Tom, it is importantly Tom who is waiting to take a revenge on Gatsby. So he understands that it is a conspiracy happening between Tom and his wife Daisy, and Nick understands that Daisy is not going to leave Tom. So the night ends there. The next morning, still Gatsby, the hero of the novel, is hopeful that Daisy will come back to him after what happened in the previous day, what happened in the accident. Daisy will come back, leaving Tom. She will come back to his old boyfriend Gatsby. He is still in those thoughts and hopes, and he is just having some relaxing time. In his mansion there is a huge pool, so he just wants to spend a day with a lot of relaxation and rest. So he decides to go to the swimming pool, and he is resting there in the swimming pool. He is relaxing, and the next scene which we see in the novel is extremely shocking, and it comes as a surprise and a shock to the readers. We see this happy man going to the pool in a dreamy day, hoping that his girlfriend will be back to him. But unfortunately, we see the blood stains in the swimming pool, and unfortunately, this man, surprisingly and shockingly, this man is murdered. Gatsby, the central character of the novel, is murdered here when he was resting in the swimming pool. Who murdered Gatsby? So this mystery is revealed as we go on reading the further story of the novel. So now the story has almost come to an end. So in the meantime, what has happened is Tom has taken this opportunity to take complete revenge on Gatsby. One, for he had an eye on his wife. Second, his girlfriend was killed by his wife. So taking these two things into consideration, he tries to avenge himself on Gatsby. He tells the news to whom? To the husband of Myrtle, George Wilson, that the car which hit his wife is owned by a man called Gatsby, and this man runs from his place, the Valley of Ashes. He is already depressed, he is already frustrated, he is almost behaving like a mad person after the death of his wife in that accident. Now he loses his control and comes in search of this man, Gatsby. Unfortunately, he remembers the color of the car which had hit his wife, and he sees the car standing in the compound or in the premises of Gatsby's mansion. And now he understands that the owner of this car is none other than Gatsby, who was resting in that pool. So from a hiding place, he shoots Gatsby when he was relaxing, and at the end he even shoots himself, thereby committing suicide. So this is a shocking end to the story. And the next day, immediately what happens is, so here there are two deaths. The hero of the novel dies, J. Gatsby dies, The other person who has died there is George Wilson. So actually there are three deaths if we look at the whole story. First one is that of Myrtle Wilson, then it is of Jay Gatsby, and then it is of Myrtle's husband, George Wilson. So unfortunately this death has taken place, and now nobody is to take care of this man, Jay Gatsby, because he was living all alone in his mansion. He did not have a family of his own. So now Nick, his neighbor, is worried as to what to do, whom to call for the funeral of such a great man, Jay Gatsby, who happened to be one of the largest party hosts in Long Island. Now what happens? He tries to contact some of the friends about whom Jay Gatsby had mentioned. His friends by name Wolfsheim, Mayor Wolfsheim, his friend by name Clip Springer, who used to be in the house of Gatsby as a music player. Unfortunately and shockingly for this man, for Nick, nobody except the father, the true father of Jay Gatsby, attends the funeral. So this is the irony of life which Fitzgerald has tried to show. And after the incident of Gatsby's death, Daisy and Tom have eloped, have been successful in their safe escape from that particular city. So nobody knows about their whereabouts. So they have become very safe and they don't have anything to do with this murder. And the murderer has himself committed suicide, so there is no question of searching for the murderer also. But unfortunate things happen to Gatsby after the death. Jay Gatsby, who was once so popular among many people, many rich families of New York, ends as a destitute man, ends alone. Nobody is there to attend his funeral. So here, at this moment, when nobody comes to attend the funeral of such a popular man, Nick understands that this has been the biggest failure of American dream. So it also shows the another fact of the world that when you are rich, the world is going to ask you. When you don't have money, the world will not ask you. And the other message behind this scene of funeral is that people want you only when they need you, and when they will not be available for you when you really need them. So this is a very sad and black message that is seen by Nick Carraway at the scene of his friend's death. One thing we have to appreciate about Nick, no matter who told what about Jay Gatsby to Nick, Nick had always been friendly, he had always been sincere when it came to his friendships and relations with Jay Gatsby. So as a sincere friend, he actually carries out the duties of funeral of this man, Jay Gatsby, when his father has come from a village. His name is Henry C. Gatz. There is one beautiful touching scene here. When Henry C. Gatz comes to attend the funeral of his own son, he looks at the big mansion which his son was owning, and he truly believes that his son would have been really a greater man. He remembers the old days when his son was a small boy, young boy, and how at such a young age, as a child, he was a promising child. He was a promising child who showed all signs of greatness, all signs of discipline. So these things he mentions in his conversation with Nick Carraway, and Carraway also feels bad because such a wonderful child Jay Gatsby had been. But unfortunately, in the pursuit of this materialistic American dream, this man had wasted away his life. This man, Jay Gatsby, had wasted away his life and feelings for a person like Daisy, for whom feelings and emotions were not anything. For her, aristocracy, luxurious lifestyle and her own security mattered the most. But for her sake, this man, Jay Gatsby, sacrificed everything, sacrificed all his dreams. It is for her sake, to impress her, he had amassed so much wealth. But now what has happened? So the story has almost come to an end here. It ends with the scene of funeral of Mr. Jay Gatsby, and ultimately at the end, Nick decides to leave this village, leave this East Egg and West Egg part of New York City, of the Long Island, because he has understood that this is the land of hypocrites. This is the land of people for whom there is no value for humanity and emotions. For them, it is only the money which matters. It is only the social status which matters. So he decides to move back from New York to the Midwest, where he actually came from. So the novel ends here. So this is the brief plot line of novel The Great Gatsby. I'm sure I have missed certain parts while I told you the plot line, but no worries, because I will be dealing with these missed parts when I will be discussing about the characters. All the major and minor characters in the novel we will be discussing in my next video. So if you like my video, please tell how you felt it. If you have some criticisms, you are always welcome to do that. And if you really liked, don't hesitate to share and subscribe my video.